Liverpool Football Club, I really don't know how they are going to solve this issue. I thought they played very well at Stamford Bridge, and there were moments where perhaps they would be seen as being unlucky. The Jackson handball, for example, the Salah disallowed goal. But the reason that they couldn't get a foothold in that game, and the reason that they couldn't get control of that game, was the lack of a number 6. Now, we need to explore why they have demolished their midfield and have ended up in a situation where they can't sign a midfielder. Every midfielder that they need and want is no longer available. Helping me dissect this, and I think it's a really interesting one, is the wonderful Ade Oladipo. Now, as you know, my dear friend is inching ever closer to 50,000 subscribers. The link is in the description below. Please help him get there. Make sure that you click. Ade, Liverpool now are... I don't want to call it a catastrophe. I don't want to call it a disaster because it isn't that.
Yeah, don't go too far.
It isn't that. But I do think that without this player, without the player to play in between Szoboszlai and McAllister, there is a ceiling as to how well you can do. You know, we know how many goals you can score. We know how much threat there is in the team. But without that player to help you win possession, look after possession, keep the ball ticking over, there is a ceiling as to how well you can do.
It's a nightmare. And you know what it is? It's not just a nightmare for Liverpool fans. It's an absolute... And you know what? You're right. It's a catastrophe for Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's best Liverpool team, like without a shadow of a doubt, is a midfield trio of Henderson, Fabinho, Gini Wijnaldum. 3 defensive midfielders. 3. And then it was like, okay, the other front 3 in Firmino, Salah, Mane, go and play anyhow you like because we have got you covered. You don't even have to worry about running back, even though they did, because we've got Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Henderson. All of a sudden, Jurgen Klopp's been ripping up this script year on year. Thiago Alcantara came in. He got rid of Gini Wijnaldum. Okay, we're a bit more flair. Then others that came in. Naby Keita's come in, bit more flair. He's always wanted that rock solid midfield. Always wanted it, and it's been our best midfield. It's been the engine room. And on Sunday, I was watching us against Chelsea, and I'm like, I have never seen us more attacking him. I tweeted it. I've never seen us more attacking in my life, and I do not like it. And if I'm one of the younger midfielders on the bench, so if I'm you, Curtis Jones or Harvey Elliott, doesn't really fancy me even. The reason I say he doesn't really fancy me, he decided to play Gakpo in midfield. He's decided to play Gakpo
Deep,
who's been playing back in the last season as the number 9. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, let's try and mix this up. We need to... It's almost a disrespect to Chelsea. We've gone to Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, and have played Luis Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, Salah, Szoboszlai, who's an attacking midfielder, and McAllister. Ain't going to work. We're not desperate for one number 6, Mr. Jennings. We're desperate for 2. Yeah. This is the thing. It isn't a Lavia problem. We're desperate for 2. I would say even 3. Because look at the others that we've got. Midfielders. Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Bajcetic and Thiago Alcantara. Are they defensive midfielders?
No. What I can't understand though, you know all that new era of Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp was talking. You know, there's sweeping changes across the squad. What did he call it? Liverpool Reloaded. Liverpool Reloaded, right? And you kind of go, okay, Liverpool Reloaded. Let's see what that means. Yeah. And you know, when he said these things in the past, they have been true. You know, when it was like heavy metal football and all that, it was heavy metal football. You were scoring goals and blitzkrieging people. Why has it not... For him to say this is Liverpool Reloaded, Liverpool 2.0...
When did he say this?
I think it was relatively recently.
Okay.
You know, it's like a new dawn, effectively.
Yeah.
And yet he's been so hamstrung because you've got goals in the team, goals galore. The defence is fine. You know, like Konate and Van Dijk is decent centre-halves.
Yeah, there's not many better centre-back pairings.
Keeper's phenomenal.
Yeah. And
2 full-backs are excellent.
Yeah.
It's literally one good player in this position, and I think you're in a title race.
You know what,
without that player, top 4 at best.
I feel sorry for Klopp. I really do. Klopp 100% was looking for another CDM, but he was adamant that Jordan Henderson and Fabinho were going to start the season at Liverpool. And obviously, look, we all know about Henderson and his money being quadrupled, and he's not going to turn that down at 34. What is he, 34, 35? He's not going to turn that down. Minutes were declining at Liverpool. The reason he got rid of Milner, Keita and Ox was to get in Szoboszlai and to get in McAllister, but I think to keep Fabinho. Fabinho would have started this season. He would have started this season and then we wouldn't be having this problem. They've accepted a Fabinho deal without even having someone as a replacement to come in.
Doesn't make any sense,
It's
does it?
awful.
Because also, McAllister...
And Lavia is not a replacement for Fabinho either, by the way. Lavia at 19 isn't replacement. And look, Lavia could turn out to be an insanely good midfielder. But the experience that Fabinho had, Lavia isn't... A 19-year-old isn't replacing a 30-year-old Fabinho.
No.
It's just not... No, it's not.
Because also, McAllister, and when you think about what McAllister brings to a team, when you think about what Szoboszlai brings to a team, loads of energy, which is great.
Yeah.
Loads of invention, which is great. But they need backup. They need backup. They need that third player in there. They need that player to win the ball, turn it over and go again.
Yeah.
And if you think about Chelsea, the ease at which Chelsea cut through Liverpool.
It was staggering.
And look, I think Chelsea, we're quite a penetrating team. But we're not, by any stretch, the most penetrating team in the league.
No, I was watching it and it was like the most... when you're seeing it happen in slow motion? Like literally, Reece James and Sterling were doing overlaps and Robertson didn't know what to do. Robertson's like, if I go there, who's covering me? And for years, that's been Hendo. For years, it's been Fabinho. And now all of a sudden, everyone's like, whose job is it? Who's doing this?
Did you see the footage of John W. Henry going to the director's box and sitting next to Todd Bowley? Both Americans, both venture capitalists, presumably, mate. Is that a generalisation?
No,
are billionaires, mate?
Billionaires know each other, don't they? They know each other.
It's quite a small world.
Probably pick up the yachts and the private jets from the same place. Yeah.
If you're an American billionaire, presumably you know.
And what? So they
both
own NBA or
clubs.
NFL clubs.
Yeah, they've got to know each other. Yeah. Would they have discussed Caicedo, do you think? Because they seem to be quite pally. Would they have been discussing Caicedo?
There's no way it doesn't come up. There's no way that conversation doesn't come up.
What on earth is John Henry saying in that situation?
Surely, okay, if you're going to take him, leave us Lavia.
Do you think that there'd be like a friendly, unofficial...
No, I think one thing about billionaires is the egos and rivalry between them is incredible. There's like one okay, you go 111, we're going 115, and that's what you did, right? So I don't even think they're even discussing it. I think there's just this innate competition between them.
Also, mate, do you know what? When they're sitting there watching the game, both of them bias. They'll be both looking at their team, both looking at the defensive deficiencies in their team, both looking at the way Liverpool cut through Chelsea, and both go, God, we could do with that really good footballer from Brighton. And JW Henry doing the same thing.
Yeah, what's your club done? Your club's gone out and spent 175 million and gone bang, take it, just like that. Like looked at him for, we need what? Get it. What's our club done?
But you've tried.
Yeah, we've tried.
You haven't been let down by the owners.
We've tried.
You haven't been let down by the owners.
No.
You found the money. You found the money. The players. This is weird.
I'll be honest with you though. You say we found the money, and you're right.
You found the money late.
Yeah, found the money late. But the Caicedo one just stinked of. Like, I've never thought of Liverpool being that desperate. Yeah. Like, it was desperate. We weren't...
Panic buying.
Mate, we never were in for Caicedo. Like, there was no Caicedo link. Maybe behind the scenes, who knows?
Yeah.
There was never a Caicedo link. Like, we went and done business with Brighton and got McAllister. That was our business.
I think that was quite clever from Liverpool, though.
What, to jump in quickly?
Because I think Liverpool probably were monitoring the situation from afar. They could see that Brighton were becoming overly frustrated with Chelsea's ridiculous conduct. Like, we haven't covered ourselves in glory here. No, we've won the game.
It's only good if you go and then get it done.
Yeah.
So now it's embarrassing.
Yeah, now it's embarrassing. But I think the strategy from Liverpool was to monitor it and then go, hang on a minute, Chelsea are making a pig's ear of this. If we swoop with the right money, we'll get the player. And you would have got the player. The player just didn't want to sign for you.
Imagine that. So they've put a bid in, it's been accepted. And by all accounts, by the way, the player has had a conversation with Klopp and it's like, thumbs up, we're going. And now it's like, we're not going. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing day for the club. And by the way, I thought we had no money. Like, sorry, 1 second, very, very quickly. I'm going back to this Jude thing. I know it's going to bug a lot of people. So Liverpool would have spent in this window, if we got Caicedo, around 200 million. I don't know what the wages of Caicedo and McAllister, and ultimately then it was a Jude decision not to come because all of a sudden it's been like, we can't afford Jude.
No, but do you not think that you found the extra, that you found the 111 or whatever it was that you bid? Do you not think that you found that off the back of the sales that perhaps you didn't anticipate when...
We only made 40 from them, didn't we?
What, 40 and 50...
15, 45 million.
Call it 55 million that you didn't think you had. That's why you had the 111. Don't you think?
I'd like to think that because if we haven't, we've missed out on big targets. We've missed out on Jude.
Yeah, you ended up basically, because of the sales that maybe you didn't preempt, because who could? you ended up with 52 million quid more than you initially thought, which meant that you added that to what you initially
or something that we had on the budget.
But in a way, it's probably done you a favour, because say you didn't have the additional 50, you would have probably just put the 60 in for Lavia without any of the dramas for Caicedo, which would have probably got you Lavia at the time.
Yeah, and now look, though. Now look, with a game gone, the window shuts in 2 weeks.
What do you think about not getting Caicedo off the back of him? Because obviously Liverpool and Brighton agreed. The 111 was done. The player was going to Liverpool. It was announced. Liverpool had agreed with the parental club. It's in the bag. Caicedo goes, hold tight. I don't want to go there. I want to go to Chelsea.
If that's the way it's played out,
I think that's
if
it.
that is
People watching this are thinking that I'm doing that as a spin.
No,
I'm not doing
if
that
that's
as a
how
spin.
it's played out. I mean, I don't know if there's been more behind the scenes. There probably is with these transfers. There's always a little bit more, but ultimately he's decided I want to go to Chelsea and not Liverpool, and that's what he's decided. And look, I don't know if it's a London thing. I don't know if it's a case of me and you gonna sort of throw punches about what club's bigger and what club's been more successful. I just feel like maybe he just wanted Chelsea for whatever reason. He just wanted to go to Chelsea, which does surprise me when you think of the amount of South Americans we've got.
Also, Klopp.
Our
I just
club
think
right
Klopp.
nowadays.
Don't get me wrong, Pochettino, but
That can only last so long, mate. That pool that you're talking about of Klopp pool can only last so long.
what about, say you don't sign anyone? Say Calvin Phillips doesn't come or Tyler Adams doesn't come. You just don't sign anyone in that position. Alcantara comes back. Gakpo's an option there still. It didn't really work.
I think we saw that. Didn't work. Defensively, he couldn't
Didn't
go back.
work, but might come good. Alcantara back. Basatic back from injury. Can it work? No. You need a player.
You need a player.
Calvin Phillips. It's Calvin Phillips.
You know how sad this is.
Or it's Amrabat.
You know how sad this all is.
Yeah.
Like, dude. Sorry to repeat myself. 2 months ago, I was having a conversation with him about Jude. I thought it was Jude, and it was Jude 100%, and it didn't matter about Champions League qualification. And now you're telling me about Calvin Phillips and Amrabat because he had a decent World Cup. Amrabat because he had a decent World Cup. That's what it's got to. There was even talk about, what's that Leeds kid? There's a
Tyler
Adams.
Tyler Adams, yeah. Well, do you know you've got a slight problem here, because Tyler Adams, obviously, Chelsea triggered the release clause for Tyler Adams.
What is it now?
Bournemouth have done it.
Oh,
I'm not even joking.
if Bournemouth beat us to a player, if it gets to that stage, look, I think Klopp's gonna have to rejig things here now and have to think about potentially even putting Trent in midfield. I mean,
yeah, properly, but not in that position. You'd have to redefine
as a sitter. He sits and starts spraying the ball with nothing.
No, he's good on the ball. It's when you haven't got the ball that's a problem.
We have nothing. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
This is crazy.
Put Gomez in there to hold.
I've never known a transfer saga.
Can Gomez play in there?
No, I've never known a transfer saga like this ever.
Especially when someone has money.
Yeah,
it's almost like having money and knowing you can buy food and all the shops are shut.
Yeah,
but I'm starving. I've got money.
It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
Where do we finish this season if that's our midfield?
Where do you finish with?
If that's our midfield, if we don't make any more signings and the window shuts,
still top 5. Still top 5.
Are you sure, mate?
Firepower.
Are you sure?
Goals galore.
Man United, Chelsea now, Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle. Nah.
Still top 5.
Okay.
You've
done this all last season. Remember you did this.
What's your prediction?
7th, 8th.
In about a month's time, when the window shuts, should we do another prediction video?
Yeah. 7th, 8th.
Thank you, Addy. As always, an honour to get your insight. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, before you go, Addy Oladipo's link is in the YouTube description. Make sure that you click it. Let's get him to 50k. In a bit, yo.